Hello everybody and welcome. Sunday Hoops at its finest. Two huge games, one belting and of course one of the most remarkable wins you'll see in a regular season in the NBA. Get involved, crossover, overtime. Liam Santamarie just called the absolute hell out of that. Big afternoon. Hello to you, Damon Lowry.
Big Cam.
My goodness.
Unbelievable. What an unbelievable win that was from the Jack Jumpers. Dead and buried Damon, and they came back and got the job done.
We're fortunate to even be here to witness the Tasmania Jack Jumper era. To watch them from last year to even this year, what a treat for basketball fans.
14 down early in the fourth. Defensively, they were brilliant. 4 points, they held the Kings late. But one of the best wins on the road, defending champion. First time they've met since that grand final last year, and a huge part of that, Jack McVeigh, or Jack McTray. 3 huge triples in the fourth quarter, 18 points, 9 boards. Scott Roth, as he left the court, your coach said to Joe Healy, never say die. And that's exactly what this mantra is. And again, to the fore today. Congratulations, mate. Big win.
Yeah, appreciate it. It was a good one to get out there.
Jack, talk us through the fourth quarter. Mate, down 12 at three-quarter time. Heavy hit from Will Magnay to start that fourth quarter. You go down 14. Talk us through that entire final term.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't really realize what was going on. I looked up to go and we were down 4. I went, oh, these are some big shots. And the boys stepped up and played Jack Jumper basketball.
Jack, you guys don't ever bring panic to the floor, man. The poise you guys have is like there's no scoreboard. Now, can you just talk to us, though, about the imports? Somehow, all these guys seem to fit the brand, the style. Their personality seems to suit how you guys play.
Yeah, they're great men. They came in, they bought in from the jump, and obviously they're great basketball players too, which helps win games. But you know, we're very lucky to have them in our program.
As Damon mentioned there, you never panic. You're the most poised team late. It showed last year late into the playoffs and all the way to that grand final series. Is that something you talk about? Is it something that's in build? How does that come about?
I guess everyone talks about it, but we're just focused on the process. Right now, this season, we haven't been good enough. We can't string 40 minutes together. We see moments and patches of Jack Jumpers basketball, but every time out, we're just talking about the defensive end, being solid, being sound, and doing that every possession.
Well, Jack, the defense was way more than solid and sound down the stretch, and you kept the Kings on lockdown in big moments. I know you love to talk about the group, and you love to talk about your teammates, but let's talk about you for a second, because another terrific performance. It wasn't your night for most of the afternoon, and then you came up big in big moments. You've had a terrific season. You've only had one game this season, not in double digits. Your consistency has been incredible. But your confidence in big shots, in big moments, taking big shots, Jack, where does that come from?
I mean, I guess just putting in the work. I know that every day I'm getting those reps up. Every day I'm just getting the reps up, the repetitions. My guys back me. I said to Milton after the game, I said, just please keep carrying me. I promise I'll step up before the fourth quarter. So I'm trying not to make a habit out of it, but it's just the daily reps and the daily self-talk helps me to hit those shots.
Jack, everybody talks about culture, man. It's one of the most overused words of all time. But you guys got pretty much a brand new team. And yet these guys all come in. Do you guys hand them a manual or something when they first get off the plane? How does everybody just get on the same page like this so effortlessly?
Well, the first thing is recruiting. I mean, it's very easy when these guys come in and they have the same characteristics that we want in the program. We don't have to do much. They slide right in, they participate, and they help build the culture, not just take part of it.
Hey, Jack, before we let you go, and congratulations again, you've got a former collegiate teammate coming into the league. Oh, yeah, you are aware of this, even though the news broke while the game was on. Jack's well and truly aware of it. What can you tell us? What are Brisbane fans going to see?
Yeah, absolutely great dude, first and foremost. So, you know, locker room guy, and then he can shoot the ball with the best in the world. Strong, too. He was in college bullying me every single day, so it'll be fun to get out there and battle with him again.
Look forward to that, mate. Congratulations. Again, a typical JJ's win on the road, 14 down. You were huge. Congratulations, man. Safe trip back to Tassie.
Thanks, guys. Let's go, Jackies.
There you go. Well, there you go. Jack McVeigh, huge win, 18-9 for him. Look, we're running out of ways to actually describe what they can do. You spoke about an NBL overtime during the week that they never, ever quit and they're the most clutch team in the league. You alluded to it there. Their poise is remarkable. Have you ever been on a team like this? Have you ever been on a team that never, ever seemed to worry about the scoreboard and have belief in what they do?
That championship year at the Hawks in 01, we won about 8 games by less than 6. We felt if it was the fourth quarter, no matter what the score was, provided we went down 20-25, we felt like we was in that game and could win it. But this guy right here, man, the way they play, Milton Doyle, he reminds me of a Darnell Meek. A younger Darnell Meek, quiet about his business, efficient all over the floor, plays both ends.
All the OGs are bringing out the references. And the Drewy last week, Leroy Loggins, I like this Darnell Meek. He's getting all the big names as comps. I've been saying for a little while now, they are the best team in crunch time in the league. And I don't think there's any doubt about that. Are they the best team in the league? Are they the championship favourites? Probably not. But, you know, New Zealand and Sydney have been really getting the job done at a high level. But they play the same style in crunch time that they've been playing all game long. It's not like they've been running up and down at a high pace and now all of a sudden we've got to slow down and execute. It's what they've been doing for the full 40 minutes. So they just continue to do that in the big moments, get the ball in the hands of the right people, and they come up trumps.
But that's why they play well and why they were great last year in the playoffs. Because in the playoffs, in any sport, the intensity goes up and there's all this other periphery stuff, and they have no concerns about what they're doing, regardless of how loud the crowd is or whatever's happening on the court. Like, they'll win a playoff game. If it is a wild card game or a play-in game, as it's called in the NBL, they just back themselves in. They don't have to worry about anything else. They just do what they do. Now, they may, in fact, finish top 4 and get a home final and make it a bit harder for that opposition team. But what they do builds them perfectly for do-or-die elimination games.
Scott Roth, leadership, you got to get it right from the top. This guy does not waver on their values. This team has bought into their values. He's already shown if you step outside the values, you're gone. So they all get it. Got new guys coming into this team. So when it gets tight, that's when the cracks, Liam, show up in your character.
No cracks.
No cracks in these guys' character. That's why they can execute on the road. Don't matter where they play. You wouldn't want to see them in a best of 5.
It might be the emotion of that game.
Now, keeping in mind that the Tasmanian JJ fans have been really big on you on social media because, to be honest, you whack them every couple of days.
That is an absolute mischaracterisation. Here's what I'm going to say. I think this team's going to finish top 4. I think they're going to be in there. Sydney, New Zealand, I got South East Melbourne in there. I reckon I've got more faith in this Jack Jumpers team than I do in the Cairns Taipans at this point. 3 wins on the trot. That was just such a remarkable win. I just love the way they executed in crunch time against Brisbane, against Melbourne. And I think over the push and shove of this hectic schedule over the course of January, they are just going to be the Jack Jumpers in their glorious crunch time executing self all the way through, and they're going to get in that top 4.
All right, you mentioned South East Melbourne Phoenix there. They belted Adelaide in the earlier game. Not a great weekend for the Adelaide 36ers, who had their chances on Friday night and couldn't put Perth away. Today, they never really had a chance. South East Melbourne Phoenix were great from the start. I'm going to you here, Damon. We've just seen Brisbane sign a third import. Adelaide have got that slot open. What do you do? What do you do if you're CJ Bruton and the crew?
They need an import guard, a lead guard, and please don't get me confuse this with disrespecting Mitch McCarron, because Mitch has been great the last couple games. But I need a lead guard that can take over, because the Adelaide 36ers, they're flawed offensively. You don't know what's going to happen anytime they come down the court. It's like they playing that NBA Summer League kind of brand where sometimes Robert Franks gets a shot, sometimes Cleveland gets a shot, sometimes they forget DJ is even on the team. A lead point guard will make sure none of that happens. And right now, for mine, yes, they look great on paper, they look great in the airport, but on the court, they don't look great.
I don't think they need a point guard. They don't need a Damon Lowry or a Peyton Seaver or a guy who is like a traditional point guard. For me, they need, and I've been saying this name time and time again, they need an Ian Clark. They need a Milton Doyle, a guy who can play the 2, can put points on the board, but in crunch time, you can give him the ball. Mitch McCarron can go to the corner, can roam the baseline, and then we play pick and roll, Robert Franks and that guy, like the Kings did in big moments, often with Ian Clark, especially when Jalen Adams was out.
You're saying combo guard?
More of a 2 who you can play through in big moments.
Because Ian Clark, combo, can play some point.
Milton Doyle?
Absolutely. Now, if you just go off and get a shooting guard like a Trey Kells type guy, you thinking like...
Yeah, because I don't think you just want to push Mitch McCarron to the side and say, hey, you're no longer our point guard.
No, I'm pushing him.
You know?
No, I'm pushing him.
So you're putting
Here's
him on the
thing.
bench. You're starting Mitch McCarron off the bench?
If I get a lead guard in, I got to bring him up to speed to get used to the system. Sorry, Mitch. Like, this ain't personal. Just like Kyle Adnam, I see Mitch being an impact guard off the bench that can play starters minutes if he's having that kind of day. But right now, you can name 5 point guards in the league better than Mitch McCarron.
Yeah, but look back at championship-winning Mitch McCarron. He was the lead point guard on the team, but he had a guy like Chris Golding next to him who he would find him and he'd get him shots. And then in big moments, hey, Chris, here's the ball. I'm going to the corner. Pick and roll. Do your thing.
I just need some more because what happens when Mitch is off the floor, now who's leading the ship, Liam? Point guard. Liam, you're a point guard.
That
you know
guy
this.
that they need to bring in.
It's not Anthony Drimmick. It's not Sunday Detch. It's got to be a lead. I'm looking at a Jalen Adams type. A guard that goes, here, man, here's the keys. And Mitch, hey, man, we'll share the driving. No problem. I'm not kicking Mitch to the curb. I'm just saying, just shave some minutes off of his game. That's all I'm saying.
What are you hearing? Just quickly, we're going to get to the break, but you're the number one journalist in the game.
I am not. But CJ Bruton said last presser, the one before, he said, look, nothing imminent, but I'll let you know when I know. And he said maybe around the corner. I don't know what all that means.
Nothing imminent. Might be around the corner. I'll let you know.
I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah,
not a direct
fair enough.
quote.
On that note, let's get to a break. All Extra Sports Bet is at the line time.
Welcome to At The Line. My name is Simon Legg, and we're here to talk about Monday's NBA slate. But before we do so, I'm joined by Josh Jenkins, whose best bet last week got up, and you have told everyone about it.
Thank you. Boston 11+ over those hapless, stinky, dramatic Brooklyn Nets. That was never missing. And in the end, 11 was all we needed. We didn't want any more. 12+ we would have lost, but beautiful.
And you got some Twitter love too, which we love to see. It's good to see the punters out there giving you a big pump up. But we're not here to talk about you anymore. We're here to talk about two of the best teams in the Western Conference right now. It's the Suns and the Pelicans. They meet on Monday, as mentioned. And I don't think anybody expected the Pelicans to be going as well as they are right now.
They're going incredibly well. They've got the talent. We've seen it building over the course of time. Ingram, Zion, our man Dyson Daniels, who we'll speak to in a moment. But have a look at that. They are right up near the top of the Western Conference standings. But when you look at the sports bet market, $14, given no respect whatsoever. I can understand Phoenix and Golden State. Clippers, I've got no idea why they're third favourites. But no love for the Pelicans. So if you're looking for some value, get on.
And how do you see this one playing out between these two?
I like New Orleans here. I think Phoenix have been a little hit and miss over the past week or so. So let's take the Pelicans between 1 and 10. And let's take Dyson Daniels. Just get this young man on the floor. Whenever he's on the floor, he does good things. 4+ rebounds. That's a little two-leg multi.
I like it. Now, the next game we want to talk about is the Hornets and the 76ers. Now, the Hornets, they are going terribly. And the 76ers, they're kind of mediocre. They're in that sort of mid-table obscurity. How do you think they'll go?
Charlotte are nowhere. Nowhere. Of course, LaMelo Ball's out. We understand that. But they're just nowhere, Charlotte. They need Michael Jordan to lace them up. They've got no chance. I think this will be blowout city.
Okay.
6 is big.
Big?
6 is big.
Really? Okay, what's your bet?
Real big. I'm talking the big man in the middle, Joel Embiid, 35+. He might even go for 40 or 45. And then Philadelphia, 11+, $6. I like that. Embiid's just going to dominate Charlotte.
A little bit of value there. Now, the last game we're talking about on Sunday is the Bulls and the Hawks. What happens here?
This will be an interesting Eastern Conference game. The Bulls haven't necessarily been as good as they were early last season, but I think they'll still be able to get the job done here. So let's have a look at the same game multi. And this one might be a little bit trickier, but if we can get it done, we'll be well rewarded. Look at that, 775. The Bulls to win, Zach LaVine to go over 22.5, and Trae Young over 9.5 assists. It's a big number, but he's more than capable of going for 12 or 13 assists.
Well, look, there's some serious value there, and if you want to follow Josh in, please make sure you gamble responsibly.
You know the score. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back. It's the crossover times, NBL overtime, Sunday hoops. We just seen one of the most remarkable wins you'll ever see in the NBL. The JJ's on the road in Sydney. But a little earlier today with South East Melbourne Phoenix, just belted Adelaide, 24-9 for Mitch Creek. Joe Chi has a double-double. Nick Marshall played well for the 36ers, given opportunities. We spoke about Adelaide, boys. We better touch on South East Melbourne Phoenix. 5 of 6, playing really well. we have trust issues with the Phoenix, but they are, I'm thinking, evaporating every time we see them play.
I feel like they're flying under the radar as a championship contender. This team can well and truly win the title. Remember the Phoenix last season, how they would lose games that they were winning by double digits, and they were always a chance to let someone back in the game? They don't do that. They just whacked Illawarra. They've done that twice recently. They just whacked their opponents today, and they're coming up trumps. They're getting Joe Chi back healthy. Simon Mitchell's doing a terrific job with this team this season. And we're all talking about Sydney and New Zealand. We're giving the Jack Jumpers the love they deserve. The Phoenix are flying under the radar, Damon, as a team that can well and truly win this title.
Can't argue with that. My trust issues with them have, like you said, they are evaporating. You know why? They know who they are. They know who they are as a team. They have the only legitimate 5-man that you can throw the ball inside to. I know in this era of dribble handoffs and weaves and all this flow action, they sometimes just go, see that guy right there, Big Sauce? Give it to him. He's going to draw double teams. He can't be guarded one-on-one in the post. A very willing passer. And they got two guys, Trey Kell and Ryan Brokoff, who don't need the ball, but at any given time can just go whack, whack, whack. Just knock Trey's down. Perfect lead point guard. Look, they have all the pieces and they play in the right way. And obviously, Mitch Creek is Mitch Creek.
The top 3 MVP for mine. And the fact is, last year, their issues were late. We spoke so much, as did you on this show. Who did you give the pill to in the last 3 or 4 minutes? They've got an abundance of players this year to be able to do it. All right, they get the job done. Still chasing Cairns, though. Cairns, not under the radar because we're continuing to marvel at how great they've been. They had to fight and dig deep. Illawarra, brilliant last night, and a double overtime game. That's 2 double overtime losses and a buzzer beater. The Hawks have gone down the last month or so. But Cairns, if you want to be in the playoffs, you've got to win these type of games, Damon. It doesn't matter how, it's how many, and they got there.
Yeah, all wins are good wins, but worrying signs. And you talking about trust issues? I have trust issues with the Cairns Taipans. This game should have never got to overtime. You know why? Because the Hawks had them.
Yeah, they did.
The Hawks blew this game.
That's a foul.
Now, that play right there, Sam got the ball there, but they had a 16-point lead, Liam.
Yeah.
You can't blow these kind of leads. So I'm just saying, yes, Kansas won. And Kansas, if they play their style, they got to make shots. If they ain't making shots, anything can happen. So on the Hawks side, this is a different Illawarra Hawks team. This ain't the same team that started the season. 2 new imports, Brisbane, 2 new ones. They are now a different team with a different. Now they have to learn how to play together and come up with wins in those situations.
Man, heartbreak for the
Absolutely.
Hawks. Oh, my God. Their last 7 games, the Hawks, they've lost 2 games in double OT. They had a good win over Melbourne United, and then they lost that game on the buzzer to that Sean Bruce hit from the Sydney Kings. So you're right, this is no easy beat team anymore. They're going to get some scalps down the stretch of the season. They didn't today. They got wiped off the floor. They didn't last night as they went to double OT. I really felt bad for the Hawks. Get out of jail for the Taipans. And yeah, I agree. The Taipans are just starting to look a little shaky for me.
While I agree with both of those comments, they still won the game, right? This is the game that Cairns wouldn't have won last year for a start. They would have got blown out, 16 out, would have just laid down. Adam Ford's got them half believing in what they're doing, and they had to dig deep, and there was a couple of interesting moments, and possibly that non-foul call was one of the major ones, but they still got there. So we're still got to give them credit for winning a game that the teams who want to make the 4 or the 6 or whatever it would be have to win.
So New Zealand and Sydney make the top 4, right?
Yeah.
So Southeast Melbourne?
Yeah. I think you noted it when you said it before, what the 4 will be, and I think that will be in the play-in game.
Tassie, and you think Cairns will be out?
I think they'll be in the play-in game. Yeah.
I got Cairns in mind.
Ooh, there you go. Quick break. Plenty more on the other side of this. Welcome back. Damon Lowry, Liam Santa Maria, Cam Luke. This was last night. Melbourne United welcomed Shea Ili back. Chris Golding got it going. Rajon Tucker got above the rim early. And they had a pretty decent win, Melbourne United. And young Dalton there, who hit the 3 late coming back from that ACL, was a nice moment. But in the end, Melbourne United break that 5-game winning streak. Losing streak, rather. They needed it, didn't they? They go to Perth tomorrow night. They play Phoenix on Thursday night. So they're playing 2 teams that are playing okay.
They looked like the team that they put together. Marcus Lee playing that Ariel Hawk-Porty role, Shea Ili as the starting point guard. They are 3-1 with Shea Ili in the lineup. Melbourne United this season, they are 3-9 without him. He is an incredibly big difference maker, and that's why they got the win last night.
You know who else is 3-1? The basketball gods.
Go on.
Against Brisbane, but we'll get on Brisbane a little bit later.
Now let's get on Brisbane now.
Go.
Good things are hard. It's hard for good things to happen for you when I said the shenanigans are taking place. Now look, Sam gets in his press conference and says we only got 7 contracted players. Guess who don't want to hear that? The basketball guys. We don't want to hear that. Hoop, man, just hoop. But I still want to give Melbourne United some credit because that, like you said, Liam, that is their full team. Xavier Rattan-Mays goes to the bench, which is a bold, gutsy move. Putting your leading scorer, your leading assist guy on the bench.
It's what they
for
recruited
a guy
him
who
to
hasn't
be.
played a whole lot. They couldn't ease Shea into it. Hey, look, I'm just saying it worked out well for him. It was a bold move.
Basketball gods liked that.
You reckon it was
what they told him they were recruiting him to be.
I'm not saying it never gets to that point. I'm saying straight away. So it was a no-brainer.
Proof's in the pudding.
Well, yeah, they did get the win and they did look good, but they beat the Brisbane Bullets, who are 1-3 against the basketball guys.
You talk like they were good before they sacked the coach. They weren't any good before.
What was their record before that? Even worse.
I know. We're going to get out of here. Yes or no? I save it for NBL overtime traditionally, but Sam McKinnon coach next year?
Yes.
Sam Intram McKinnon, I was never buying it. That dude's coaching.
You reckon he's coaching next year?
He's coaching.
There you go. Hey, tomorrow night's going to be big. Melbourne go on the road. We're going to see how good they are and if they're getting their mojo back because they take on the Perth Wildcats. Damon, Liam, Cam, see ya.